We've just taken a look at the LEGO Star Wars Revenge of the Sith brickheads, which do look pretty cool, but that's not the only set we've got leaked today. Right after it, we got official images of Kylo Ren's helmet. It is a shame it isn't a bust. If you aren't aware, LEGO have just announced an Iron Man and a Spider-Man bust, and it would have been really cool to have seen a bust of Kylo Ren. Maybe not as cool as those Marvel characters, but I definitely think the future of LEGO Star Wars has a few in store for us. Not only have we seen Kylo Ren's helmet, but we're also getting a sequel trilogy Midi scale set. Kylo Ren's shuttle, which I think only shows up in The Force Awakens. I don't remember seeing this after The Force Awakens. There are a lot of switches between those movies and it's all a blur, but it's also worth noting that Kylo Ren's helmet is from The Force Awakens. He then breaks it apart in The Last Jedi, and in Rise of Skywalker, it's got some really nice detailing, which maybe by replacing the bricks under all these wedge plates, you'd be able to create a really nice effect of replicating that. But Kylo Ren's helmet does look like I'm not going to say the worst of the helmets so far. There's probably a few that you would choose after picking up this one, but it does look like an awkward one for them to have designed. We've got a few stickered or printed parts. I really do hope they're printed parts. I think a few of the other helmets, Stormtrooper and Vader, do have printed parts, but like we said with the brickheads, you get rid of those printed parts, I don't think I'd be able to tell straight away that this is Kylo Ren, because it's just a black dome. I think it's interesting the way they work the wedge plates onto the top rather than just using squared off plates like they have a lot of the Mandalorian helmets, for instance. We've just seen Jango Fett, and Jango's helmet does look better than this. I'm not sure if they're the same price or if this one's going to be slightly cheaper, but if this is anywhere near Jango Fett's helmet, I have a feeling it's not going to be selling as well. I am a big fan of the sequel, so seeing any sort of sequel content in brick form is really, really nice, because besides Darkside Rey, we haven't got anything since the Rise of Skywalker released. I'm just not sure Kylo's helmet and a midi-scale Kylo Ren shuttle is what a lot of people have in mind. Kylo's shuttle does actually look really, really nice, and though we only see the image with the wings open, I'm sure the wings are going to close up and make a lot more use of that vertical space compared to the other midi-scale ships, which have been very short and very long, which isn't the best if you have limited display. I do think the images don't do this exactly justice, because just taking a look at the image, it reminds me of the helicarrier. Not a lot of bricks for quite a lot of money. But if you take a look at the stand, and if any of you have built a midi-scale ship, you'll know that base is a lot bigger than it seems to be. So I do feel like this is definitely worth the money. If it does sell for the same average that all the other midi ships have, I don't think we'll be paying much more for this. And I'm really interested to see, with Andor Season 2 coming out, all of the mock builds turning this ship into Krennic's shuttle. We see it in Rogue One, no doubt. If we're seeing Krennic, we're going to get the return of Death Troopers and Krennic's shuttle. And I think we've got all the pieces here to make at least a decent sized midi-scale Krennic shuttle. If not with one, then using two of these sets. As far as the future of sequel trilogy sets, I guess this really does show how much LEGO are going to put into the sequel trilogy going forward. A lot of these display sets are aimed at audiences of 18 plus, or at least 16 plus, 14 plus. And with the sequels being so new in the history of Star Wars, it would have been nice to see LEGO make some play sets for the kids growing up with those movies, though again, they might not be the ones spending a lot of money on these plastic bricks. If I was to replace these with a play set, I think it would have to be Force Awakens. Both of these are from Force Awakens, because Force Awakens is 10 years old this year. I didn't think it'd been that long since those movies come out, and thinking about it, I guess if you were about 8 when the movies come out, you would now be interested in these 18 plus style sets. So maybe LEGO have thought about this one. With the dioramas that we've been getting since, I think they could definitely go back to the Starkiller duel, maybe have a little diorama with Kylo, Old Han, and have a little strip of, maybe place a trooper in there to get an extra figure in the diorama. We definitely don't need another Poe Dameron X-Wing, although with Kylo Ren's command shuttle, I'm sure an X-Wing Midi scale ship isn't too far off. I guess that's not too far off playset scale. And before we get another Poe X-Wing, please give us a Wedge Antilles X-Wing, or just another character from the original trilogy. With every set that LEGO made for The Force Awakens, it's actually really hard to come up with an idea that isn't already a set, which I'm sure LEGO are running into with Andor looping so much into Rogue One, and that's why they ended up revisiting the U-Wing, as opposed to giving us a set like a TIE Avenger that you all know I would have loved to seen in a LEGO set. Another TIE Fighter, and just think of all the other mocks we could build with those pieces. I suppose instead of a Kylo Ren helmet, we could have got a Captain Phasma helmet and then the Kylo Ren Command Shuttle, which would work great together. But no doubt if these do well, this isn't the last of the sequels we have seen. I'm just hoping for some minifigures around the corner, besides the Rise of Skywalker Palpatine that's coming out in like a week. But if you are a fan of the sequels like me and Star Wars in general, make sure you're subscribed, drop a like if you're excited to pick up these sets, but let me know what you think about these in the comments. Until next time, may the bricks be with you, always.